Okay, thank you. We continue the discussion on the impact of mass exodus on Nigeria. Are we gaining or are we losing? What do we gain when a good number of our able-bodied and minded people leave the country? What do we lose? When every young man you meet on the way is thinking about how can I live? How can I live? The graduate, the PhD holder, the bus conductor, the sales girl, everyone has one thing in mind. How can I live? You know, before I used to say something that what is happening today is not totally far different from the slave trade that happened, Atlantic slave trade. When they came over that period, they picked the most able-bodied men and women. They picked the youngest that are strong, the ones that are able-bodied, strong-minded. These are the set of people that they took over to North America and South America from Africa. Now, the irony of what's happening today is that we are the ones willingly leaving. And then when you look at the system, you realize that the ones that are able to leave, aside the few that don't want to leave, the ones that are able to leave are the ones that are able-bodied and able-pocketed. That's the term I want to use. Or the ones that are, their pocket is good enough to sponsor them out. So they are able-bodied, able-minded, and able-pocketed. They have enough to live. So they are like the best of the best. They are the ones living. Like 0.15% are the set that don't want to live. But the rest want to live. But about 5% are able to live. So now, what does this do to us? Because most people say slavery affected the development in Africa. Like if you read how Europe underdeveloped Africa. If you read the book, you look at his argument that slavery, colonialism, and so on drained Africa of its brightest of resources, which is human resources. Now, Europe is on their own. We are the one saying, let's go. I want to leave.
Begging to be admitted.
Begging to be admitted.
Come in. Yeah.
So now, let's start with the positive part. Japa, how has it helped us as a nation?
Yeah, the only thing that benefit, like we have mentioned, is these remittances. That's one of the things that we have benefited. It has helped to cool down the political temperature, because if people, that money they are sending has been able to ameliorate poverty in many families. So assuming that money wasn't coming in the last 20, 30 years, there would have been a lot more difficulties and hardship among our people. And nobody knows the socio-political implications of that, whether it could have resulted to greater violence and all of that. I don't know if that's what I'm saying. So when, for example, you are in a family of 6, okay, and all young men, you know, at least the elder brother has gone out and is able to send money and is taking care of people going to school, paying papa, paying house rent and all of that. That can tamper down temperature a little bit. Unlike if that kind of assistance was not coming in, and people could resort to. So I believe that if we weren't traveling, if Africans weren't traveling and they stayed back, it would have overheated the system. There could have been more political turmoil, perhaps revolutions. So going to the diaspora and sending them money is just winning the battle, but losing the war. It's a temporary relief.
A temporary relief.
Yeah, it's good enough because it's sending us money. But it has let us, given the space for bad governance. There is no pressure You know, you hardly find revolutions going on in Africa. There might be a little bit of riot here and there, but there's no intensive revolution that causes a change of order.
Because there's always this comic relief, this brief relief coming from maybe support from outside.
Yeah, support from outside as well as sometimes international aid from these donor agencies and all of that. So they are all helping to pacify the society and all of
without
that.
actually solving the problem.
Without actually solving the problem. And if we had stayed back, you know, then all of that human resources would have been here. We would have invested in other human resources, doctors, engineers, all those talents that are doing great things. Say, for example, in America, I understand that there are about 3 million Nigerians there. And a vast number of them are skilled people, nurses, professionals, engineers, doctors, and all kinds of people, you know. So by being there, they are contributing enormously. The Philip Emeagwali's that are considered to be the father of modern computing.
Yes.
And all that talent has helped to develop whatever technology IBM and Microsoft people have adopted. So what if that talent was here and we created, and there was good government and there was good governance and all that invention and innovation.
And invention happened
from here.
And we export.
And we are exporting.
Instead of importing what they produce.
And part of that is being done by our people, you know. Part of that is being done by our people. So it's a very complex situation. You know, so when we talk about remittances and when government talks about that, it's just
cosmetic,
yes, but it's not really supposed to be that way. You know,
I think
another failure of government.
Another thing, the other thing I see that is a good benefit of this idea of our people moving out. Emigration is that if we manage it properly, we realize that exposure is a training.
Yeah, it is.
It is training for our people.
Yes.
Imagine someone who is an engineer here, electrical engineer here, he goes over to US, work there for 10 years, then come back. That's why I said if we manage it properly.
Yes.
Now, if such a person, a professional, is willing, because maybe there is a situation that will bring them back after 10 years or 5 years, willingly, and then they come back with their exposure and experience, I believe that they are not coming back as they left. They are coming back far more loaded. So it still boils back that truly that idea of people moving out is needed.
It's good. It's excellent.
Another thing I would suggest is this: that if we can create a system of kind of agreement, Nigeria should not just focus on Europe and North America. The Asians are doing wonderful technologically, health-wise, development. So China is doing magic. Yes, they have large population, but if our government and their government have a way of ensuring that we can move there too and learn, so that people can go there, you train as an engineer in Nigeria, you go to China, you're working there. Then after a while, you know what they are doing, you know what they know, and then you can come back if you want. Because if you're encouraging people to move out with the hope of them coming back, you need to create an environment that will pull them back.
Exactly.
So China is doing wonderful. Japan, Korea, even India.
All of them. Vietnam, Bangladesh.
But I think the problem we have is that we don't have what I call the Nigerian dream. If we had the Nigerian dream, a global strategy that defines our purpose and interaction with anybody, then it will make sense that as people are buying pounds to go over to UK, Nigeria knows exactly why, and in 10 years what Nigeria would gain from that. And then maybe, we say, we are opening more doors. Nigerian government will find a way to create relationship with China and say, yes, Nigerians should go to China and study. And then instead of just, okay, we are rushing to UK, paying up to 40 million naira for masters in UK. Maybe 15 million naira could afford it in China. Then they create a better process for it to work. And then when it works, you realize that, okay, Nigeria has a defined policy that will ensure that when they go there, this is what they are targeted to learn.
And
then
after
when
that,
they will be encouraged
yes,
to come back. I think that's one way
and
that it becomes a skill training.
Yeah.
It becomes like more like, let's train our people by encouraging them to Japa.
Yes.
Then when they Japa, there is a program ensuring that that movement is also encouraged and facilitated in such a way that they will be pulled back to our country. I think that's going to be very beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's a very good policy they can pursue it. Particularly, even currently, one region that is best suited to benefit from this diaspora thing, is the Southeast. Because you are talking about Asia now. There's a lot of people of the Southeast extraction in the Asian area, in China, in Bangladesh. You see a lot of people over there. In Japan, people I'm talking about Southeast people.
Southeast.
Yeah. So I don't know. To the credit of this current governor, Mba, I think he's going in the right direction. Yeah. Because we have all been romanticizing about this concept of think home,
yes.
bring investment home. And luckily enough, that hasn't happened, because I understand that some people have estimated that the population of Igbos currently in Igbo land is about the same with the population of Igbos outside of Igbo land. That is anywhere outside of Igbo land, Lagos, Abuja, the whole of Africa, you find a lot of Igbos there, Zimbabwe, Kenya, Sierra Leone, Senegal, big investments and big businesses. All the way to Kuwait, UAE, of course, and then all the way down to Korea.
Yeah.
I won't be surprised to find an Igbo man in North Korea. So if you guys want everybody to come back, that is a very serious issue. That's going to be a lot of pressure on logistics, a lot of pressure on infrastructure, a lot of pressure on security and law and order, and all of that. Prices, housing, everything is going to go through the roof, and then that could create schisms between those that are already here and those who just came back. So I just hope that with this Trump, what some people will call the Trump anti-immigration madness, that we don't create a global system that people begin to expel, because already UK is taking in the same direction. We see his friend, what's this guy's name? The president of Argentina, talking along the same line. So I don't know the world order where we're heading to, but let's hope that it doesn't lead to the mass exodus of immigrants from everywhere, because the most hit will be Nigeria and the most hit will be the Southeast when people begin to all converge back here, to do all of that. So the point I'm making is that a good way to start now is for our government, whether it is state governments or federal governments, begin to be intentional about diaspora engagement. Whether it is that they are going to be deported en masse, which is a possibility given the way the world order is shifting. Nobody knows where it will end.
I doubt that will happen.
I doubt that will happen, but anything is possible. I mean, nobody saw the Holocaust 3-4 years before it started. Nobody saw it, even as high as Prime Minister Chamberlain of Britain. They were all taken unawares by what Hitler had in mind. So the way Trump is going, you can see that he has no interest in the current world order. He has a different mindset. And nobody knows where it's going to end up eventually. He's even talking about possibility of a third term in government.
I saw one crazy picture he had yesterday morning. Gulf of America instead of Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, they've changed it now.
So
they've changed it. He's going for Greenland.
Yes.
He's going for Canada.
Yeah.
And he wants to take over the Gaza.
The thing is, I know what they are doing.
Okay.
I've discovered that what Americans do is this. They love the stick and carrot system,
Okay.
whereby they flog you and then draw you back.
With the other hand.
They will give you this government and then give you the second one. So while you're feeling comfortable with this, they will take the government away and bring the one that you won't feel comfortable with.
Okay.
When you feel like you are the enemy, they elect a
Yes.
leader that will make you look like you're a friend.
Yes.
Now, what they are trying to do is this. There's no way they are going to deport useful people.
No, they will not deport useful people, certainly.
So what they are doing, they are just playing with the whole world. Most Nigerians in the US are highly skilled, highly professional. Even the ones they say undocumented. If you go there and they discover the person is doing useful task for them, they are going to fast forward their documentation. Because I've discovered that Nigerians are one of the set of people with the highest level of skills in the US. Then you don't deport such person.
Yeah.
Except that there are some knots there you need to tighten up upstairs.
In your brain.
Yes.
But never say never, because the way things are happening now, in the field of robotics, the field of AI, a lot of things are going on that you will be surprised that in the next 5 years, human labor may not be what it is again. And it all just takes policy. And people like Elon Musk now are in charge of the government of efficiency and all of that in America, the Dodge
Department of Government Efficiency.
And I think he's like the ombudsman of this government. He's getting more and more power. And he's a tech guy, who is into space exploration.
Well,
and all that.
To me, I see Elon Musk as one of the candidates of the topic we have today.
Okay.
He japaed from Africa.
From South Africa, yes.
Yes, he left Africa, born in Africa, raised in Africa.
Yeah.
So he is just like a subject of our discussion.
And he's not even yet investing in South Africa.
Yes.
So the president is calling him to come and to take home also.
So when we are talking about Japa syndrome and so on, the receiving countries benefit more.
Yeah.
And we can use Elon Musk as an example. The task that of all his inventions go to the United States government.
Yeah.
After he left South Africa.
Yeah.
His first project he built was in South Africa.
Okay.
So which means that he didn't go there and became somebody. He was already something in Africa. He was already writing programs in Africa before he left.
Yeah.
Yes, the environment of the country he went into was able to globalize him.
Yeah, because he could have become the world where the SCG was in South Africa. I doubt it. Or do you think he would have?
I think if Dangote did not go anywhere to become Dangote. Now, imagine a Dangote in tech who could have moved over across the world.
Yeah.
Today we are talking about US companies spending so much, and China companies also competing with them. So the way the tech world is going, yes, US has laid a system that can help someone once you get over there and you're talented enough, you can excel beyond anywhere else. But you wouldn't have excelled if you were not already good.
Yes, of course.
So the country that he left, which is South Africa now, an African country, whatever the system that was available there, helped him to become a programmer, someone who writes programs, and he started it over there.
Yeah.
Then when he got to the US, he already has a talent, and then the system was able to help him.
Yes.
That's why like what you mentioned, the government, both at state and federal level, need to create a system that encourage people to excel beyond measures. Like what you mentioned about Enugu State. I've discovered there's something going on right now. Enugu Tech Festival, whereby they are trying to encourage people to pursue tech skills.
Okay.
And their target is 1,000 professionals in 1 year.
Oh,
so now, if they're able to do that, it's not always as easy as the politicians say it is. But if they're able to achieve half of that, or even 10% of that, they've set a good precedence that if you need a programmer, You don't need to
Yes.
worry yourself so much about going over to another country, another continent.
Yeah.
That the person is right here,
Yeah.
and you know where to find the person.
Yeah.
So, and someone, my advice to them is this: when they set up these skills whereby people are trained, let them also set up
Key.
funding,
Very key part
so
of
that there
it.
are people that are so talented, they are going to come up with crazy
Ideas.
ideas.
And they have to be funded.
Now, if they are not funded, they are not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
All
And
they need to do is
usually
write
very
it,
risky.
present it to someone in the US, they will leave.
Yeah.
The task of government, the tax Enugu state government would have gotten would go to Alaska, would go to New York. So
That's true.
if they set up trained people, they must also set up funding,
Yeah.
more like venture capital,
Yeah.
so that after assessing an idea and a product, let them fund it.
Yeah.
And once you are funded, you leave your headquarters right here in Enugu.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. Government has to come in because most of the banks will be able to fund them because of their high risk. You know, IT is a very
Yes,
high risk sector.
yes.
And the failure rate is usually very high. You know, we talk about Amazon,
Absolutely.
Meta, and a few of these bright stars, but there are millions, possibly, or rather thousands, or possibly tens of thousands that failed. You know, startups that tried
yeah.
something in the tech field and also couldn't make it. So, so there are a few bright spots, but so many other dark spots. So that's why government needs to come in and do those kind of funding intervention. And
Yeah.
not only can lead to banks or even to venture capitalists, but many of them will not be willing to take the risks that are involved. So government should do that. In all, our governments, you know, Peter Mba is doing excellent thing. I think everybody has given him that credit. You know, Enugu is a place now that at least if there's a mass exodus of people, mass returnees, you know, there's some kind of order, some kind of structure that is in place, you know, that can accommodate people. So our governments need to do that. All through the years since 1960, our people have been jabbering. They've learned a lot. Some people have lived abroad for 40 years, 30 years. They've learned a lot. I mean, is it when they when they are now tired and retired and old, they will now come and invest? No, it's now that they are in their prime. That whatever they've learned, they should now begin to invest. So there should be a concerted government policy, you know, to engage with the diaspora in a structured way, that they can begin to invest and return home. So that's why I like his policies on security. He's very good, very tough on security, very key. Because once we have the kind of insecurity that's going on in Anambra State, it's difficult for investors to want to do that kind of thing.
Something I've looked at it is, one way I've looked at it is this: government is paying more attention on the return. Invest, bring your money. We are Nigeria. Let's grow Nigeria together. Now, I think what government should start focusing on is how can we bring the person that owns the fund? How can we say, you have only an engineer in the US for 5 years, for 20 years. Come home. We need you. There are young people that that are thinking about starting something similar to what you did over there. Come and be a supervisor. Come and contribute. That's going to be better than saying, hey, bring your fund and invest down here. I mean, so the person can still leave some part of their funding part of their funds over there and come down to contribute.
Just with their skills.
You know, the fund
experience
can come in and disappear without any impact. But if the person comes in, they will be able to transfer their skills.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Instead of looking at it purely from a financial angle.
No, let's look at the skill, the training aspect. But it has to be like China, whereby you encourage the person to come in. You encourage the person to come in purely.
The government should have the funding necessary for that. Because once they come in, the next thing is, okay, so how do we fund this project or this idea? How do we get it started up and all of that? And sometimes people ask, for that investment, because that's one way to make sure that you get the loyalty of that person tied down to the project, his commitment. If he knows that it's just we have no commitment, just the person may not be so committed. But nevertheless, it's all policy mix-up. There are all kinds of ways to look at it and find the best way.
Yeah.
As long as the governments are intentional about it, their objective is very clear. The Southeast has a gold mine when it comes to the diaspora population.
Yes.
It's one of the greatest factors that can power the development of this area, beyond even the federal government. For as long as we don't have an anti-Southeast federal government that is opposed to the development of the Southeast, but once we don't have any of those hindrances, if the Southeast can get their house together, they have a large, when we talk about this diaspora of Nigeria, you should know that most of them, particularly the skilled ones, are actually from the Southeast.
Yes.
Some, like in UK, because UKs tend to align more with the Southwest, because of cultural affinity. Whereas the Southeast, because of political inclination, we kind of more aligned with the US. I hope you know that.
Yes.
You know the Southwesterners do very well in the UK,
more
than the Southeasterners. And Southeasterners
it goes back a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like the University of Nigeria was copied from the US. The University of Ibadan was copied from the UK, and so on. Ideological difference.
Ideological difference. But the UK is Southwest is more like UK. Because of their what do you call that? The royal family system. And,
yes. I think the Japa syndrome has taken us across different topics.
Yes, they are all connected.
We are all connected.
Yeah.
The love of home is inside it.
Yes.
The investment, funding, finance, culture, all these are part of things to consider.
That's right.
Because you cannot talk about the brightest mind leaving or the brightest mind coming back without talking about security, without talking about peace, without talking about education, governance, good policies. So if any government is interested in actually developing their state or their nation, you should think about the people within. How can I hold them down? Which is by treating them well, creating an environment that can keep them down. Then the people that are already out, how can I bring them to contribute? And like I said earlier, it shouldn't be about financial contribution only.
Yeah.
The talents they have should be useful to the nation. That is how we can. I remember one of the best Minister of Agriculture we ever had is Femi Adesina. Is it Femi, right? Adesina.
Akinwumi
Adesina.
Current president of the African.
These are the kind of people you can go. Bank, you can go out there, say, "Come home. We need your talent." Yeah. There are so many persons like this.
Yeah.
Come home. We need your talent. They may have the connections. They may not have that huge billions to bring home, but they know someone that can trust because they are in commissioner in your state. Someone will say, I will invest in your state because I trust this person.
That's correct.
I had a story one time. I was telling people one thing. I told them that if Nigeria needs a president that will just sit on the seat, and the country will reset for good. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Once she sits there, the trust we are talking about will start. Credibility. These are the kind of poaching we need. Imagine Madam President is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala.
People can believe what she's saying. People can believe.
You will see Singapore. People from Singapore will come down and say, "What is happening in Nigeria? We're interested." Just because of the person that is sitting there. Credibility. And these are the kind of people we say, let's look outside and ask them to come back. Bring your talent. We don't need your money. Truly. The reason we go out to buy coaches for football teams is what? Because we believe in their talent. We can do the same thing in our economy, in our politics.
That's a very good point.
in our politics. This is what I believe, that
Yeah.
Nigerians that are talented and gifted and skilled abroad can contribute too, in so many ways.
Yes. Yes. I agree with you. I see the point you're making.
Let's, in one way, in 1 minute, summarize what you think about as we come close to the program. Summarize what you think about the Japa syndrome, its impact, and advise people on what to do, actions to take about the idea of leaving the country.
Yeah, like I've already said many times, I don't have anything against anybody leaving. I support the idea, you know. We can't contest the fact that there are difficulties in Africa and in particular in Nigeria, difficulties of security, difficulties of economic situation, poor infrastructure, poor governance and all of that. So it's easy for somebody to have a sense of hopelessness towards Nigeria. If anybody has that kind of feeling, it's understandable. There's been all kinds of efforts to correct the situation and it has failed. The military have intervened, we've had a civil war, we've had all kinds of crises, we've gone through election, and the worst one now is that a peaceful change of power, you know, trying to change the order by peacefully voting a good government in is getting more and more difficult, you know, because it's as if some people complain that all the institutions of governance has been compromised. So where are you going to get good leadership from? So there are people that don't have the hope and they want to leave. So rather than everybody be here and burning, let some people go there, get some benefits, some things, exposure, knowledge, skills, and then help some of us here in an informal way at least. From time to time, there are sparks of good governance, like we are seeing in Enugu State. I've heard about what Kubara is doing in Rivers. Some people have praised Mr. Monsani in Kaduna.
Okay.
You know, others have also praised Mr. Oti in Abia State. You know, usually some people say Lagos State is bad to be a bad governor. It's hard to be a bad governor in Lagos State because it's already controlling almost 60% of Nigerian economy. So you are likely to always have enough money to do whatever you want to
work,
do.
yeah.
So that's why every governor in Lagos State always looks like a star. But there are pockets of stars here and there. Sometimes there are good policies by the current government of Mr. Tinubu. And sometimes it's as if the problem they have is with implementation, you know, and how altruistic is their intention, you know, and carrying out these policies that have been initiated. So those who want to leave can go, but whatever the case is, remember home. And
okay, this is the song that was going up in my head.
Yes.
No matter wherever you go, always remember the road that leads home.
Okay.
That's Jerusalem by a South African singer.
Oh, okay.
That's a good one to end the show.
Okay, that's great. Yes.
So, wherever you go, remember the road that leads home. At least remember home.
Yes.
And Africa remains home. Nigeria remains home. We travel, go around the world, but stay. Remember where is home. Thank you so much for having it with me today.
Thank you so much.
And we do it next time.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I'm glad to do that.
Yeah.